Good evening and thanks for joining us here on this July 4th. I'm Erica Glover. Police say the parents of 4-year-old Javeayah Harris are now under arrest. The missing child is at the center, though, of a massive search.
The search for a missing 4-year-old girl has now become a homicide investigation.
Hey.
What you want to say about the baby?
That
4-year-old Javeayah Harris is deceased.
That was the Aiken County Sheriff Marty Sawyer there announcing that this search has taken a turn. We knew it was going to be a pivotal update in this case. They now believe that Javeayah Harris is dead. They have evidence in the case to believe that.
The FBI showed up, then the state police, then 6 sheriff's departments from counties that had nothing to do with this one. They put every resource available to find her. 200 officers, helicopters cutting over 5,000 acres in triple-digit heat. Dogs, drones, roadblocks on every road leading out of town. All of it mobilized for one 4-year-old girl in pink Minnie Mouse pajamas. It became one of the largest child search operations South Carolina has seen in years. Grown men who'd done this job for decades called it personal. A pastor opened his church before sunrise just to give exhausted search teams somewhere to sit. An entire community stopped what they were doing and prayed for one little girl to be found alive. It took federal agents, state investigators, and hundreds of trained officers 4 full days to ask the one question that actually mattered. She wasn't missing. She'd never been missing at all. Before we continue, this video covers the death of a 4-year-old child, including details from an active criminal investigation involving abuse and neglect. Some viewers may find this content deeply disturbing. Please take care of yourself while watching, and consider skipping this one if these themes are difficult for you. If you're new here, welcome to Criminal Affairs. Subscribe, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Tuesday morning in Aiken County, South Carolina, looked like any other. In a stretch of Beach Island near the intersection of Hillsborough Street and Ridgecrest Road, a young family was going about an ordinary week. Javeayah Harris was 4 years old. Her parents were 23-year-old Johmarea Harris and 22-year-old Michilae Monique Herring. Michilae was 39 weeks pregnant, close enough to her due date that a hospital call felt inevitable to everyone around her. Johmarea, in particular, had spent that week half expecting his phone to ring with news that labor had started. Neither of them had any reason to think the call that actually came would have nothing to do with a delivery room at all. They weren't a family anyone outside their neighborhood had heard of yet. No headlines, no press conferences, no reason for a stranger 2 counties away to know their names. Just a young couple, a 4-year-old daughter, and a baby on the way, living in a quiet corner of Aiken County the way thousands of other families do. Within days, that would change completely. Johmarea and Michilae would become 2 of the most visible parents in South Carolina, watched by a community that had every reason to believe they were living through the worst week of their lives, and every reason to want to help them get through it. That belief would carry an entire search operation. It started on the evening of June 30th with a mother who says she stepped inside to cook dinner. It was Tuesday, June 30th, a little after 8:15 in the evening, when Michilae says she last saw her daughter. Javeayah was outside, near the family's chicken coop, a spot she was drawn to most days. Michilae had gone inside to finish cooking dinner. When she came back out, somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes later, the yard was empty. By 8:45, she was on the phone with 911. She told the dispatcher she'd already gone looking herself, walking a wooded path behind the house that she and Javeayah sometimes took together. She explained that she was 39 weeks pregnant and that keeping pace with a 4-year-old across uneven ground simply wasn't something her body could do right then. She gave a description for the dispatcher to send out: pink Minnie Mouse pajamas, pink beads braided into her hair, about 40 pounds, somewhere close to 3.5 feet tall.
Aiken County 911, where's your emergency?
Ma'am, I'm at 39 Hillsborough Street. I can't find my baby.
39 Hillsborough Street.
Yes, ma'am. She was outside playing, and I came out here after cooking dinner a little bit, and I'm looking for her, but I don't see her nowhere.
All right, how old is this baby?
She's 4.
All right, what was she wearing?
She has on pink Minnie Mouse pajamas, and she had in pink beads. She had braids.
Is she black, white, or Hispanic?
She's mixed.
Okay, how long ago did you see her, ma'am? When was the last time you saw her?
I just came out here like no less than 20 or 30 minutes ago. I went in the house to cook dinner, and I
Yes,
told
ma'am.
her it's time to come in once it starts getting dark. And when I came out here, I
Okay,
can't find her.
just take a breath for me, okay? I already have them on the way to you, okay? Do you know where she might be heading? Okay, you have any family or friends that live around the area?
No, but she usually try to chase our chickens to catch them, and I've been looking through the woods to try to see if I see her, but I don't see her nowhere.
What's your name?
My name is Michilae Harris.
What's her name?
Javeayah Harris.
Harris? I couldn't hear the first name.
Javeayah is spelled Javeayah. And I wasn't out here. I'm 39 weeks pregnant. I can't keep up with her like that.
Okay. And what? Anybody else out there with her? Like that was out there with her? Any friends, kids playing with her?
The way our yard is set up, it's nothing but the dogs and the chickens right here at the back.
All right. Does she have any health issues? Any mental issues? Anything like that?
They suspect that she was autistic, but she's just now turning 4, so they don't have no diagnosis all the way.
Okay.
She's very smart, though. She don't seem autistic.
Does she talk?
Yeah. She can carry a full conversation.
Okay. You didn't see any vehicles before you went inside or anything like that?
No, but what worries me is these crackheads that walk in his house behind the house. I don't know. I've always felt weird about them, and I don't know. Hello?
I'm still here, ma'am. Give me just a second.
My call might be breaking up because of where we at.
Okay. What's a good callback number for you, ma'am?
Ma'am, I don't have one. My phone is not on, but I can still call 911.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Okay. I have them on the way to you. Just to confirm, where was she in the house when you saw her last?
No, she wasn't in the house, ma'am. She been playing outside today. And she asked me, can she play for a little bit more before it got dark, and I said yes. And I literally, her bath water is in the tub, ran, and dinner is cooking, and I came out here to get her, and I can't even find her.
Okay, is there a certain place she likes to play outside?
Usually in the chicken coop, and that's usually where I find her every day. And I just looked in here, and she's not in here.
Okay. Is there any bodies of water nearby?
I don't know, ma'am. Me and my husband just now purchasing this house. I don't know about this area much, but it's not a good area. I'll tell you that. It's not good.
Okay, you say you searched the woods. Is that behind your house?
Yes, it's like a pathway right behind my house. And we usually take the dog sometimes in the woods to just let them run. And she'll come, so I know she knows about the woods. And but I look down the same pathway that we walk, and I do not see her.
Okay, and you said she was wearing Minnie Mouse pajamas. Anything else you may be wearing?
Her beads are pink.
Beads are pink?
Yeah, she's got braids. I mean, I don't know if she got on Crocs or with shoes, because she just puts on play shoes, but I don't, ma'am, it's not no way that she could have got far.
All right. Do you have any neighbors around the area that you're familiar with she might be going to?
No, we don't talk to none of these people. None of these people, because they all mostly do drugs. I don't associate myself with that.
Have you checked with neighbors to see if they have seen her?
No, ma'am. I'm literally, I called you 10 minutes after I stepped outside. The cops are pulling up right now.
All right, go ahead and talk to them, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, no problem.
Hey, how you doing?
Johmarea wasn't there for any of it. He says he'd left roughly 90 minutes earlier, running errands at a laundromat and a nearby convenience store. When he pulled into the driveway a little before 9, he found patrol cars already parked outside the house, lights turning against the dark. His first thought wasn't that his daughter was gone. It was that Michilae had gone into labor while he was out. She hadn't. Not that night, anyway. What almost no one following this case would learn for days was that in the same stretch of hours surrounding that 911 call, Michilae gave birth to the couple's newborn child. No explanation was offered publicly for how that detail fit into the timeline. It simply sat there, unremarked on, while the search for Javeayah began to take shape around it. Before deputies ever reached the property, family members had already gone looking themselves, checking the yard, the coop, the tree line behind the house, on their own. Deputies didn't stay long once they arrived. Within the hour, phone calls were already going out to agencies far beyond Aiken County. Sheriff Marty Sawyer did not treat this as something his department could handle alone, and he did not wait to find out whether that judgment was right. Within hours of the 911 call, Aiken County's investigation had grown well beyond the borders of a single missing persons report. The FBI's Columbia field office stepped in, led by Special Agent in Charge Kevin Moore. His team took on neighborhood canvassing, reviewed digital evidence pulled from the area, and brought in specialized units, including the Bureau's Behavioral Analysis Unit and its Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team. The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division joined soon after, and sheriffs from several surrounding counties sent deputies and equipment to help carry the load. On the ground, the work was layered, not just large. Officers moved through the surrounding land in a methodical grid pattern, clearing sections one at a time so nothing got missed or disturbed by accident. K-9 units worked scent trails through the wooded areas behind the property. Helicopters and drones handled the terrain that was too thick or too wide to search on foot. Roadblocks went up on the roads leading in and out of the neighborhood, and for several days, deputies went door to door, gathering security footage and talking to anyone who might have seen something. Bethel Baptist Church, just around the corner from the family's home, became the operations command post. Pastor Stan Adams opened the building at 1:30 in the morning, giving exhausted crews somewhere to sit, drink water, and cool off between shifts in the heat. Early reporting suggested Javeayah might be nonverbal or on the autism spectrum. The sheriff's office walked that back within a day, describing her instead as talkative and social. Even with the scale of the response, the case never met South Carolina's legal threshold for an Amber Alert. Digital billboards carried her photo across the county instead, and a public tip line stayed open around the clock for anyone with information. Through all of it, Johmarea and Michilae were not standing on the sidelines. They walked the search area beside deputies. They sat for interviews, visibly shaken, asking strangers directly for help finding their daughter. 2 days before his arrest, Johmarea told a reporter, "Not knowing is killing me." If you're finding this level of detail useful, this is the kind of case we dig into every week. Subscribing helps more than you'd think. At the time, nobody had reason to hear that line as anything other than what it sounded like. A father, frightened, waiting on news that hadn't come. The working theory, the one everyone from deputies to volunteers was operating under, was simple. Javeayah had wandered off on her own. In the interviews he gave that week, Johmarea described his daughter in specific terms. Friendly, he said. No sense of stranger danger. A kid who would talk to anybody. Respectful to a fault. The kind of child he and Michilae had raised to be trusting rather than cautious. "We raised her great," he told one reporter. It was a description built for a particular purpose, whether he meant it that way or not. It explained why a 4-year-old might walk off with no fear at all, into woods or down a road, following nothing more than her own comfort with strangers. Not everyone who knew Javeayah recognized that description. A woman identified only as Ms. Young, a former neighbor from an apartment complex the family had lived in up in Union County, gave a different account entirely. The Javeayah she remembered wouldn't cross a street on her own. She held hands to walk from one room to another, even somewhere as simple as the refrigerator. Other former neighbors from that same complex said they'd occasionally stepped in themselves, feeding her or sending her home in clean clothes, because something about how she was being cared for had bothered them, well before any of this made the news. Public records added another thread. Both parents had been named in eviction proceedings back in Union County. Johmarea's case, filed by a rental property company, dated back to 2023 and was settled that November. Michilae's was more recent, filed by the local housing authority in December of 2025 and ending in a writ of ejectment the following January. Neither filing said anything about Javeayah directly. They simply pointed to a family that had moved through unstable housing more than once before settling on Hillsborough Street. Whatever had actually happened to her, none of it had happened in a single afternoon. It had taken shape over a span of weeks inside that home, in ways nobody searching the surrounding woods had any way of knowing. The newborn, born in the same stretch of time as the 911 call, was already part of the family's world by now, though nobody outside the house was thinking about that detail yet. By July 3rd, 3 days into the search, Sheriff Sawyer told reporters there was still no evidence Javeayah had been abducted. Publicly, the wandering theory held. Search operations began quietly scaling back the next day. Fewer boots on the ground, fewer cameras following along. The same tip line still ringing with calls that led nowhere useful. The search wasn't over. It was just getting quieter, right before everything about it was about to change. Saturday, July 4th. Sheriff Sawyer stood at a podium in front of the cameras that had been covering this case since the first night and told the public something he later called the hardest announcement of his 36 years in law enforcement. Investigators, he said, now believed Javeayah Harris was dead and had been for roughly a month, well before the 911 call that started the search anyone had ever known about. It was already too late to save Javeayah, he said, the moment that call came in. He called it the outcome the whole community had feared, and said it was one they'd have to face together, as painful as that would be. In the same statement, he confirmed the arrests. Johmarea and Michilae had both been taken into custody that morning, hours after the sheriff first spoke publicly.
Sadly, the night of the 911 call on June 30th, when that call was made, it was already too late to save Javeayah. At this time, our investigation supports that she had been deceased for at least a month.
Consider what that actually meant. The two people the public had watched cry in front of cameras, walk the search grid alongside deputies, and ask strangers for help finding their daughter were the same two people who had already known for weeks what happened to her. Every plea, every interview, every day spent standing beside people who trusted them without question had taken place after the fact, not during a search for answers, after they already had them. Special Agent Kevin Moore stepped up next, offering condolences on behalf of the FBI and describing the case going forward in different terms than the ones used all week. This was no longer a rescue effort. It was, in his words, now a pursuit of justice for Javeayah, with federal resources committed to seeing it through.
Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Columbia field office. And today, a family and this community are hurting from this tragedy, the loss of a 4-year-old Javeayah. We want to offer our sincerest condolences to Javeayah's loved ones and to this community. The men and women of the FBI have been here in Aiken County since the beginning, working alongside the Sheriff's Office and our law enforcement partners. With the information we had at the time, we put every available resource into finding Javeayah. That included dozens of FBI personnel who were part of the searches, the neighborhood canvasses, the digital media review, and interviews. We also had members of the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit, the Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team, and our technical experts involved. Whenever a child goes missing, it's a joint effort to find them, and the FBI works hand in glove to assist law enforcement agencies in doing so. It's heartbreaking that we are not standing here with better news. We want to thank the community for all the support, for the tips, and for showing compassion in trying to locate Javeayah. Thank you to our law enforcement partners. It's truly one team. Now we are all focused on pursuing justice for Javeayah, because that's what she deserves. Thank you, Sheriff.
Private investigator Chandra Cleveland, speaking to local media without any direct connection to the case, explained what came next now that the visible search had wound down. Interviews, forensic work, building a case for prosecutors. All of it happening away from cameras, away from volunteers, away from anything the public would see directly again for some time. And Ms. Young's account, the one that never matched the story being told about a friendly, fearless child who might have simply wandered? It made sense now. The little girl who wouldn't cross a street without holding someone's hand had never wandered anywhere at all. The search that had pulled in federal agents, state police, and hundreds of volunteers hadn't failed to find a missing child. It had never actually been looking for one, not in the way anyone believed. Two parents had stood in that search line the entire time, and nobody around them had any reason to suspect they already knew exactly why the woods were empty. What came next wasn't more searching, it was paperwork, warrants, and a courtroom. The day after the arrests, Sunday, July 5th, Johmarea and Michilae each appeared before Magistrate Judge Ronald Thornton for separate bond hearings. Neither had an attorney sitting beside them. Michilae told the court she worked at Transcom, paid every 2 weeks, somewhere around $1,300 a check. Thornton ruled that income put her above the threshold for a court-appointed lawyer. When he asked who else lived in her household, she answered simply, the father, adding that he worked at DHL Johmarea. In his own hearing later that afternoon, was asked the same question. He gave 2 answers, a beat apart. My girlfriend, he said first, then quieter, my child. Because both were facing homicide charges, Thornton didn't have the authority to grant bond himself. Both cases were sent up to circuit court, where a judge would have 30 days to take up the question. First court appearances were set for September, Michilae's for the 18th, Johmarea's for the 19th. The next day, Monday, the arrest warrants were unsealed, and they laid out something far more specific than anything said at the podium that Saturday. The documents describe Javeayah's death as the result of repeated and extreme physical abuse, language investigators used to establish what the affidavit calls extreme indifference to human life. That abuse, according to the warrants, took place over a window stretching from May 1st to June 15th, inside the family's home on Hillsborough Street. Both parents' charges are built in large part on their own statements to investigators. But the two sets of charges aren't identical. Michilae Herring is charged with causing Javeayah's death through child abuse or neglect, with failing to get her daughter medical care after learning she'd been physically injured, and with disposing of Javeayah's body at a separate location before ever picking up the phone to call 911. She also faces the false police report charge. Javeayah Harris's charge is narrower. He's accused of knowing about the abuse and failing to seek medical help for his daughter, a failure that investigators say contributed to her death. Nothing in his warrant alleges he caused the injuries himself. Both charges fall under South Carolina's homicide by child abuse statute, Code Section 16-3-85. One additional detail came out around the same time. The newborn, born in the hour surrounding that original 911 call, was placed with a family member through South Carolina's Department of Social Services shortly after. Johmarea's booking photo showed him in a turtle suit, a tear-resistant garment jails sometimes use for safety reasons that vary case to case. The detention center hasn't explained its use here, and it isn't, on its own, evidence of anything in particular. Meanwhile, the search for Javeayah's remains had already moved north, toward Debutary Creek, along the line separating Fairfield and Chester counties near Great Falls, not far from the same Union County ties that had surfaced earlier in the investigation. SLED and the state's Department of Natural Resources sent boats, ATVs, and drone teams into the water and surrounding land. As it stands, Javeayah's body has not been found. Investigators haven't ruled out additional charges. No trial date exists for either parent. Under the law, both Javeayah Harris and Michilae Herring are presumed innocent unless a court finds otherwise. Confessions cited in a warrant are not the same thing as a verdict, and neither case has come anywhere close to trial. A lot remains genuinely unanswered. What actually caused the abuse described in those warrants? The precise cause and location of Javeayah's death? Whether prosecutors, working from two clearly different sets of charges, will argue at trial that Johmarea and Michilae bear different levels of responsibility for what happened to her, or treat them the same. One thing does stand out, looking back at how this all unfolded. Ms. Young's account, given quietly to a reporter days before the arrests, turned out to hold more truth than anything coming from the podium at the time. 200 officers, federal agents, thousands of acres covered by air and on foot. All of it built on a story about a fearless child who wandered. The actual truth had been sitting with one neighbor, 2 counties away, the entire time. Nobody in that search ever thought to ask her directly. Outside the family's former home on Hillsborough Street, a small memorial has taken shape in the days since the arrests. Flowers, cards, a photo of a girl in pink braided beads, left by people who never got the chance to search for her themselves. The search for Javeayah continues, miles from where it started. So do the cases against both of her parents. None of it is finished yet. This case isn't over. There's still a body to find, a trial that hasn't started, and charges that could still change before either parent sees the inside of a courtroom. When that happens, we'll be covering it in full, the same way we covered everything you just watched. Subscribing means you won't have to go looking for that update yourself. Before you go, one question worth sitting with. Watching Johmarea and Michilae search, cry, and plead in front of cameras for 4 days, would you have believed them too? Tell us honestly in the comments below.